said a few times in recent tapes that trying to reason with support of the people of Gaza about my belief that Hamas was bribed by Israeli supporters in places like Egypt to initiate the mayhem. And you will notice that these regional characters didn't come to the defense of Gaza. I don't personally believe that Iran is coming to the defense of Gaza. They're coming to the defense of themselves and trying to make it look, just for some bonus rhetoric, that they're coming to the defense of Gaza. We'll see how that plays out. But that it compares to the way that the queers defended the people who released AIDS, but they couldn't break from their entertainment warlocks. The people who were behind it were the people who they turned to for music and so forth, and for role models. So it leads to a very complex situation, a Hollywood talking box speaking for all sides and then passing the hat to collect the money from everybody. A sort of three faces of Eve operation from the leapfrog oligarchs. And I believe this explains why nobody took up for my father. Obviously, a mystery surrounding the death of senior faculty at a university should interest local television, but it doesn't. And the reason for that is that there was actually a ploy. America's standing in the world has justifiably fallen because of our idiocy towards Iraq, our refusal to face facts about 9/11, the forever war in Afghanistan, what we did in Syria, and the abysmal lack of refusal to cover these issues from both sides to understand what's going on. But there was an alliance with the fundamentalists, an alliance between Iraq, Iran, and Reagan. The Iran-Contra pipeline was an example of that Michael Foucault was part of. And why else would he meet with the Ayatollah unless they had something going together? So we know what they had going together is that they were agreed to attack the Rev first. It's like, get rid of a common burden of the partying underclass, which is what AIDS was. It was war on sin. Sin were holy war agreement. And then get back to fighting each other to establish domination. It's a Fight Club school of dictatorship. And the proximate cause of America's decline in the world is George Bush. But his monstrous inability to conceive of America the way the world looked to America with hope. George Bush could not conceive of America in the way that the world conceived of America and looking to America for hope. He had no concept of the idea of people actually admiring and want to being like America. He saw only a way of dominating them. And what he contributed to the situation where the people who believe themselves very in resistance to Bush would actually side with him was to donate little Jimmy Queerbait. So what they said, the Iranians, they drama scored a one-night stand. Louis adultery, Putin doubled over with laughter. Boris Johnson doubled over with laughter. And Pittsburgh said, don't laugh. Don't laugh. And Bush contributed this so that the Debbie Martins of the West Coast, the Angela Davises of the West Coast, the really loose urban guerrillas of the West Coast would all say, we don't like Jimmy Carrey's testifying about the Pussy Bowl operation that was clocked to the AIDS attack. So we're going to grill him crossing the Louis line, which is how they conceived of the whole thing. It's not technically true, but they made it up enough that they could sell it and push it the way they push, poison street drugs like crack and that. And then they say that I was a vice white who shouldn't be treated leniently. As part of Bush's program of creating a scapegoat, of setting up torture to give therapy to the criminally psychotic sadists in Seattle, they're all supporting Bush's operation. The donation of Jimmy Carrey as a voodoo doll for sticking pins and causing Parkinson's, threatening with more torture, poison, crimes, snuff movie, and then say you get to collect from the story because you played ball with us. And rather than publicly be seen as lapping and lapping and lapping lugubriously at George Bush's boot, Deborah Martin says, well, that's all behind us. Let's just forget about that and get back to our squabbles over dialectical materialism and have a tug of war over who gets the divvies from the drama club story that we all put on. So it's a complex arrangement of appearing to be at odds while pulling a fast one. And maybe Bush is hoping that when people come clean about the whole thing, they'll admire him again for pulling off a genocide and making everybody laugh with the Beatles punchline.